Hey, so I'm just going to show you how to do the coolant on the Daytona 675. It's a 2007 model. I couldn't find anything on YouTube when I was looking, so figured I may as well do it now. So let's go. To flush the coolant, you'll need to get to the radiator. So that's the top of it there. I've taken the top off already. There's the coolant reservoir. Then radiator hose one, that's the lowest one. The coolant drain bolt is this, and this one here I've already taken it off, so it's just above the headers. It is not this one, this is for oil, so make sure you don't do that if you're only doing the coolant. So again, here beside the air filter above the headers, and it goes in here. You'll know because there's a radiator hose there anyway. So to get to that, you have to undo the fairings, which is awful. I have a torch here, so there is a bit of sediment in, can you see that? There is bits of sediment in the bottom which I'm trying to wash out. So to do that, I've drained it, siphoned it. Yesterday I was doing it with just a tubing. I couldn't find my wind up siphon, so I managed to find like a syringe type thing, and it's awful, so I put a bit of tubing on the end of that, put it in and done it that way. I drained 2 litres out of mine and it looked horrible. It was gone really black and had lots of sediment in it. So I'm guessing the sediment through the system. So while I have the drain bolt off, I have some water with some white vinegar in it just to help wash out the system. So I'll pour some into the radiator, pour some into the reservoir, and then it'll all collect into this. So I'll just put the drain plug bolt back in for now, so it doesn't all just rinse out straight away. I've only done that finger tight because I'll be opening it again anyway. So let's fill up this system. I did actually buy a funnel today for the first time, so I may as well actually use it instead of pouring shit all over my bike. To get some of the air bubbles out, if you squeeze the radiator hose, it will kind of burp the system. And then just start up the bike until the fan comes on, and that way it'll go through the system and wash it. Just make sure obviously you have the cap on, make sure that the clamp is tight and that your drain bolt and anything else you've undone, that you redo it before you start it up. So another thing I did for siphoning, so I originally used, I used this bit of tubing because it was cleaner, found it, but then I couldn't get right the way to the bottom, so it's slow but it works. Is if you get like from a spray bottle from window cleaner or kitchen cleaner, that sort of thing, just put that tube into the bottom and spray it. It takes a while, you get a sore hand and a sore arm, but it works. This one is longer because it's off a weed killer sprayer, so I just cut it because it was torn anyway, so I figured I can rob this one. So just use it, put it in. Do it now. So you can just put it in and it's primed, but yeah, that's it. So you just spray it into a container to get the last bits out. Let's turn the bike on. Now that the bike has ran and you've ran it, it's gone up temperature, then turn it off, let it cool, and then you can drain the water and the vinegar mix that flushes it through. Some of the automotive flushes can be quite corrosive for the radiator tubing. Just get this just in case. So now just tighten the clamps again on the radiator hose. I just do it straight after because I know I'll forget to do it and then I'll be riding and it'll fly off. Make sure you get a fresh crush washer for putting on the bolts. So it's meant to take 2.4 litres, I believe. So I have a 5 litre antifreeze and coolant ready to use. Pour that in so it doesn't take the full amount. At first it needs to run through the system and then you top it up again. Put your cap back on. So this is already drained. I did that with this as the siphon. That's filled just to under the max line. Put in about, so it was full, it was 5 litre and it's just at 3. So I have to let this run, let it heat up, turn it off, let it cool down and then top it up again. I do have frame sliders, so that's what this hole is. It didn't leak. Oh good, everything's tightened up, just waiting for it to cool down. So I am putting all the fairings on and then I'll top this up. If you're simply just looking to top up your coolant, you can just take off the panel that sits here, get to it that way. And with this, it's just like a little push button. So same thing, you can just pull that out, pull the top off and top up your coolant there. To get to the hoses, obviously it's all